What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are outside Ruggles Card Club in Cincinnati, Ohio. This is actually the first club I ever played at years ago. It's pretty nice, honestly, super spacious inside. I haven't played here in a few years because I pretty much just don't play here anymore. It's a little bit further than the other club I play at, mainly spades. So yeah, but they have been getting a 2-5 game running, so that's what we're going to be playing today. 2-5 hold'em. Just going to buy in for the max, $1,000. So that's pretty much our plan for the day. Let's get in there and crush some souls.
So as you can see, the inside is nice and spacious. Really like the white and blue theme they got going on, and the tables are really nice as well. We went ahead and bought in for $1,000, so in the game for $1,000. All right, you guys, first hand of the night, we're looking down at King Queen offsuit. We put in the button straddle, small blind calls. This dude was pretty wild, to say the least. Super funny dude. Folds back around to us, and we put in the raise to 35, and he immediately calls. So heads up to the flop. And the flop is Queen 10-9, all diamonds, so super wet, super connected flop. He checks, and yeah, like I said, super wet, super connected flop. We do have a pretty decent hand, but we would hate to get check raised, so we just go ahead and check it back. And the turn is the deuce of hearts. He now checks again, and yeah, definitely not checking anymore at this point. Definitely going to go for some value, protect our hand. So we bet 35, and he absolutely snap calls. As you can see, pretty much the fastest snap call in history. So off to the river, 145 in the pot.
No diamond, no diamond.
And the river is the king of spades. Puts a 4-liner out there to the straight. Any jack is now a straight.
I'm gonna have to apologize for this.
So after saying that, he now bets 60, and yeah, not folding.
Might have to pay you off on this one.
You don't have to, dude. Don't be shy.
Oh my god, Dominic's the vlog.
Jackie?
I got nothing.
And he has nothing, so we go ahead and take this one down. Looking down at a premium this hand, ace king of hearts. So the pre-flop action is button straddle, small blind calls, big blind calls, and we go ahead and raise to 55 from the cutoff. The button puts in the call, and the small blind now 3 bets to 210. So pretty interesting, folds to us. And this is the point in the hand where I think we made a mistake. Probably should have just honestly ripped all in. I know we're in position. I know we have a suited playable hand, but there's already that extra dead money in there from the button. Pretty loose, splashy player. He's pretty short. He only has like 300 behind roughly. So yeah, this is a spot where we should probably just rip, especially only being 4-handed. Every hand just goes up in value exponentially. This ace-king suited is effectively like the same hand strength as kings, damn near, in a full ring game. But we do decide to just call, keep in his bluffs. Like I said, our hand is suited. We're in position. Absolutely nothing wrong with calling, but especially with that dead money out there, I think we probably should have just ripped all in. But we do decide to just call the 210. And now the button does go all in. He goes all in for 285. So it does not reopen the action. So small blind calls, and obviously we call as well. So already a monster pot brewing. And the flop is Queen 9-3 rainbow. There is a heart out there. 865 in the pot. So not really the worst flop ever. But small blind does move all in now for 700 effective. He has us covered. So yeah, not the worst flop like I said, but definitely not a flop that we can call off. So we made the fold, and these guys do agree to run it twice. So the first run out is 3 of spades, 10 of hearts. Second run out is 7 of diamonds, 7 of clubs. Button has queen 10 of spades, and small blind has ace queen, so they are going to chop. Small blind did say he would have just called if we went all in, but who knows? I think he actually probably would have folded, but we'll never know for sure. But we're being results oriented either way. Should have probably just moved all in, would have been the best play, but that's going to be it for hand number 2. We got ourselves a couple of hockey sticks this hand, pocket sevens, 7 of hearts, 7 of clubs, low jack, limps, hijack, aggressive reg, raises to 20, and we stray from the conventional route of just calling on the button and decide to 3-bet to 80. I like this sizing. Usually we would go just under 4x in position, but with that limp out there, we decided to just make it a smooth 4x. Folds around to the hijack, and the hijack does put in the call. So heads up to the flop, and the flop is Jack 6 deuce rainbow, $172 in the pot. So pretty good flop. Only one overcard to our pocket sevens. Pretty dry, disconnected flop as well. Definitely one we can c-bet at a high frequency. So hijack checks in flow. We go ahead and bet $90, just over half pot. Want to try to get max value from his ace king, ace queen type hands. I don't want to encourage light floats or some type of raise or anything like that. So we fire out for 90, and he pretty quickly calls. The turn is the 5 of spades. $352 in the pot, and he checks once again. And at this point, I don't think there's a ton of reason to bet. We would really hate to get raised. Yes, our hand could obviously use some protection, but like I said, our hand really would hate to get raised. We really want to get to showdown. So we do decide to check this back and pray for a clean river. No ace, no king, no queen. So we do check, and the river is the 3 of spades. So pretty decent river, all things considered. Does put the flush out there, but at least it's not a high card. That was our main concern. No ace, no king. So he checks, and we're going to be happy to just check this back and hope we win. So we do check, and it is good, and we take this one down. There is a open to $20 from a short stack player this hand. Early position opens to 20. He's got less than $200 total. So we decide to just call on the button with ace queen of diamonds. We could 3-bet and just happily get it in, but rather just call and see a flop. So we do just call the 20, and it's going to be heads up to the flop. And the flop is 10, 9, 7, 2 clubs, 1 diamond. He checks, and we have decent showdown value. We're just going to check it back, hope for a nice turn, and it is. It is a 3 of diamonds, so gives us the nut flush draw. He now bets 25 into 47, and yeah, this just feels pretty weak. Feels like ace king taking a stab. I don't think he has a 10. He probably would have bet the flop. I don't think he has an overpair. He's got like 150 bucks behind, so whatever. We have a decent amount of equity pretty much no matter what, so let's just put him to the test. So we do decide to just rip 150 bucks effective, and he thinks it over for a bit and does eventually put in the call, and he wants to run it twice, so we do. First river, 2 of hearts. Second river, king of clubs. I'm thinking we might get scooped against ace king or some random hand, but we actually scooped. So honestly, not really sure what he had, but I'll take it. Keeping our foot on the gas, this time there is an open to 15 from under the gun 2, solid reg. Loose splashy player calls in the low jack. We go ahead and put in the 3-bet to $80 with king 9 of hearts. The initial raiser under the gun 2 folds, and low jack puts in the call. So heads up to the flop, and the flop is 7, 7 deuce rainbow, and there is 1 heart out there, so we do have the backdoor flush draw and 2 overcards to the board. So not the worst board at all. Pretty dry, disconnected flop. If it was 7 deuce deuce, it would be even more disconnected, but as is, he could have some 7s. He checks, and we go ahead and bet $90, just under half pot. I like this bet size. Clean up some of his ace-high hands and maybe really low pocket pairs, such as 3s or 4s perhaps. Trying to stay away from a lot of the 1/3 sizings in live play. I just think it's kind of pointless a lot of the time. So we decide to bet 90 and low jack calls. So on the turn, we can definitely bomb some certain turns, and the 3 of hearts is definitely one of them. We can consider it for sure, but he kind of has an awkward stack size. He has about 480 behind. There's 362 in the pot. So I'm really considering just ripping all in. Like I said before, if the flop was 7 deuce deuce as opposed to 7 7 deuce, I would be a lot more inclined to just rip right here. But as it stands, he could have a 7, not that unlikely. And I'm really putting him on a lot of medium pairs after he calls the 15 pre and then calls our 3-bet to 80. I think he has a lot of hands such as 9s, 8s, even pocket 10s potentially. So I don't really think he's gonna fold those hands. So after deliberating, I do decide to just shut it down and check. If he had a little bit less, I definitely think I would have just ripped. But as it stands, we do end up checking. The river is the jack of spades, 362 still in the pot. And low jack now fires out for 125. So yeah, at this point, we're just pretty much done. If he checked, I might have bluffed, but probably not, because like I said, I'm just putting him on a lot of middling pairs that I just don't really think are going to fold a lot. Especially this guy, he seemed pretty sticky. So yeah, he fires out 125, and that's the end of this one. We go ahead and toss our cards in the muck. And fortunately for us, we did not blast off on the turn because he had pocket 7s. So he was laying in the weeds, just praying that we did it. But fortunately for us and our bankroll, we did not. He had just a little bit too much, so running good for us there that he didn't have, just a little bit less. Straddle is on this next hand, and we go ahead and bump it up to 30 from under the gun 2, ace of spades, queen of hearts, the cutoff calls, and under the gun calls. So 3 ways to the flop, and the flop is king 10, 9, 2 spades, and 1 heart, $97 in the pot. When under the gun checks to us, this is pretty much like one of the nut flops for us to be bluffing with our exact hand, having that spade. We can rep ace king, aces, king queen, nut flush draw, ace x of spades. So we go ahead and fire out 80 just under full pot. The cutoff calls and under the gun folds. So heads up to the turn. And if this is a spade, I am probably going to apply a lot of pressure. That is my plan. And it is a spade. It is the 3 of spades, 257 in the pot. He has like 340 behind. And I was saying in my head before this turn even hit, if this is a spade, I'm probably just going to put them all in. And it is a spade, so got to follow through with our initial plan. So I think he's going to be folding even king queen here. It's really hard for him to have ace king, but yeah, basically every king x hand, I think he's just going to fold, honestly, to this bet. We just go ahead and rip it in for 340. And he tanks for a while, weighs his options, counts out his chips, and does eventually settle on a fold. So get this one through and pick up a nice pot. Final hand of the night, lock in, you guys. This one is pretty wild. So limp, under the gun 1, under the gun 2, solid reg, opens to 25. We go ahead and 3-bet on the button with jack 10 of spades.
Draws remaining, you got like 17.
Roughly.
Check your cards one more time for the draw.
Alright.
Thank you.
No gerbil talk this time.
Folds to under the gun 2, who puts in the call. So heads up to the flop. And the flop is an absolute dream. Ace, king, queen, 2 spades, 1 heart, 232 in the pot. We got the nuts with the redraw. Under the gun 2 checks it over to us. And we have such a hammerlock on this board. I decide to size down a bit. I just bet 50. Having the spades with the nuts, I really just want to ensure he calls. I want to keep in hands such as pocket jacks, pocket 10s, ace jack, king 10, all these hands such as these. I want to keep these hands in. Say we had jack 10 of diamonds, for instance. I can get on board with betting 150, even bigger perhaps. But with this particular hand, I think sizing down is definitely the play. Leave the door open for him to raise as well. So we bet 50 and he puts in the call. So the turn is the 2 of clubs, 332 in the pot. Under the gun 2 checks. So amazing turn, complete brick. Once again, I want to size down a little bit, having such a hammerlock on this hand, having the spades to go with the nuts. So I decide to bet 135 and he pretty quickly puts in the call. Praying for a clean river, no board pair. I don't even need the flush, honestly. So the river is clean. It is the 7 of clubs, 602 in the pot. And he now randomly leads out for 345, just over half pot. Absolute music to our ears. Coming up with a sizing now. Really hard to put him on a hand. I'm putting him on something such as ace king, ace queen, maybe pocket queens. I don't really think he ever has kings or aces. So pretty perplexing what he is betting here, but yeah, obviously raising. So coming up with a size. I don't know if I just want to rip all in. I think he's a good enough player to potentially fold ace king or ace queen if we do that. And if he does have a hand such as queens or somehow kings, then I need to make it look like he can still beat some value, make it look like he can still beat ace king. I eventually decide to raise to 855, basically 500 more for him to call. And he doesn't think for too long before putting in the call. And he has pocket queens, so absolute cooler on this flop. This is one of those rare instances where us 3-betting actually kept us from doubling up most likely. Because since I 3-bet pre-flop, it really narrowed down my range. If I would have just called his 25, my range is still wide open. I can have basically anything. At some point, I could have raised, or he would have checked, I would have bet, he would have raised, and at that point, I can either come over the top or just call, and at some point, most likely get it all in, because I can just have such a more wide range of hands. But after this 3-bet pre-flop, I can easily have aces or kings, so he can't really just go crazy with pocket queens. He's much more concerned that I have aces or kings here than I have jack 10, trust me. So yeah, one of those weird spots where 3-betting usually always leads to a bigger pot, but in this instance specifically, it actually probably kept us from doubling up. But I do like our raise on the river to 855. I think if we would have just ripped all in, we're basically saying we only have jack 10 at that point, maybe aces. Either way, he's still beat. So yeah, really like our raise on the river. That's going to be our final hand of the night. Super interesting hand to end the session. One final look at the chip stack for the night. We were able to run it up a decent amount there at the end. So we head on over to the cage to cash out for the night. We ended up being in the game for 1.8K, out for 2820, so profit of 1,020 for the night. We played from 4 p.m. till 12:30 a.m. I thought we played really well, honestly. The ace-king suited hand in the beginning maybe should have just ripped all in, but definitely not a mistake to just call in position. Other than that, I thought we played great. We played really aggressive, 3-bet a lot, which was our plan going in, which we stuck to. That's pretty much going to do it for this episode, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.